I mean, when we looked at his medical history,
it shows.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. You know, in this video, we're actually going to be talking about how to choose a sperm donor. This is our IVF journey. Before we get started, my name is Sarah Chicharo, and this is Jenna. And you know, I was in a car accident 20 months ago that really hurt us. It actually delayed our IVF journey and our process, and it was a really frustrating time for us. I actually use YouTube as a way to talk about chronic pain and also depression, so be sure to check out those other videos later. If you're new, consider subscribing below. Alright, let's get going! Alright, so how do we choose our sperm donor? You know, it's crazy because when we first started our journey, we didn't know where to start. And the clinic that we actually started seeing, you know, Oregon Health and Science University, which is also known as OHSU, and that's actually up in Portland, Oregon. So they gave us an actual sheet of all the sperm banks that they actually use in the United States. And so we actually went through each and every single one and we searched. Of course, we searched based on a few things that, you know, of course there were some deal breakers, but we also wanted to search of what Jenna looks like. And so we used a lot of what Jenna's
physical characteristics.
Yeah. And so I wanted to go through a set of questions and just go through this and answer some of these because there are a lot of them are from, you know, DMs from actual people that are my fans, and so I appreciate them a lot because they're really curious.
Yeah, she has a lot of subscribers, so you know she always says her DMs are always open.
Yeah.
And people message with some interesting questions sometimes, so we thought we'd answer them.
Yeah, of course. So number one, this is the first question. So we had somebody ask us this question in one of my DMs. So what are some things you considered when choosing your sperm donor? So here are a few things that we actually considered. It was mainly physical characteristics of Jenna.
Almond-shaped eyes. I have that distinct almond-shaped eyes.
Yep.
We looked for a cleft chin, but we only found like one person and he had black hair, and so it didn't work out on that one. But she really wanted someone who was my same complexion. My grandparents are from England and Ireland, and so there were some Caucasian European countries, but she didn't want to, you know, choose those people just because it didn't have my actual background.
I want you to have your actual.
Right, and so I thought that was like just romantic of her to, like, you know,
it's not romantic.
Consider.
It just makes sense. Like, you know, you want your partner to be part of genetically in the mix.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if it's, I don't even want it to be in a European person. I'm sorry.
My green eyes we looked for. The donor actually has blue eyes, but his siblings and one of his parents have green eyes.
Yeah, so it's very dominant in that area. And of course, my dad has green eyes. There's a lot of green and blue on my side as well, so there's a lot to consider. You know, another thing that we thought about was the percentage of birth success rates. That's actually something we considered, because if he doesn't have any success birth rates, there's no live baby in the end, then what's the point? His sperm sucks then. We really had to make sure. It was 25, 26 when he donated, so we were in the clear because, of course, with men, they also decrease.
Yeah, the quality of the sperm decreases as they age, so we wanted someone in the younger category.
And then 3 other things were really highly, you know, considered. That, you know, height, right? We wanted to make sure that they were tall enough and not too short or not too tall. And also they had to have adult photos because there's babies that look cute.
So cute.
But then they're older and then you're like, ugh.
See the adult photo?
Yeah, they're totally different. And most of them were like that. So they were shocking to us. So we had to take a step back and we really needed to think, okay, it sucks that there's not that many donors that have adults that will let that, like, they won't show the adult photos. But I mean, that's important. You want to see the end result.
Yeah.
Okay, number 2. What things were not important when choosing a donor? So here are some things. Blood type, interests, cost. How much did our vial cost?
$975 for one vial.
That was not bad. We didn't care about that. Religion, fun facts. Like, what was his favorite song? His favorite animal, stuff like that. I mean, it's interesting, but it's not important. And also the sound of their voice, because they give an audio clip slip, and that's just like, okay, cool. So number 3, what are some deal breaker traits?
Okay, so some of the deal breaker traits that we were not into was if the person didn't have any adult photos. We wanted to be able to see what this person's features turned out to be, because it was obvious all of them had childhood photos. Like, that was a given. But if they didn't have adult photos, we didn't consider them.
No, because we've had really cute babies and then they turn out as adults really nasty. I mean, not really nasty, but just not attractive. Even if we liked one so much, we wanted to have adult photos. And we'd be like, okay, there's no adult photos, I guess, we crossed that one out. So it sucked, you know?
The other one is height. So that was a deal breaker. Anyone under 5'10", we didn't want, because, you know, we're gonna have boys maybe.
Yeah.
And we don't want any, you know, shorter people. No offense to anyone who's under 5'10", but we just want to give our kid like a shot at being a taller guy.
But we also got rid of like 6'3" and higher.
Anyone 6'3" and higher,
because
you're like, whoa.
That's gonna be a C-section. We're tiny, so that's gonna be crazy, especially if it's a boy.
Yeah.
But you know, we just want to make it appropriate. You know, the height, not too outrageous.
Right. We didn't want extremes.
So number 4, do you want an anonymous donor or do you want an open donor? And so this wasn't really important to us. I mean, I don't really want to contact the donor myself, and I don't want us to get involved because it's us. We're the partnership. So the third person, you know, he's just giving us, you know, a little bit of help. That's it. You know, if the kids grow up and they want to seek out the third, you know, that's fine. We're not going to stop them because it is an open donor, the one we do have.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not gonna hurt them in the end if they do want to talk to them. So that's that one.
Okay, number 5. So this one's about motility rate. This is like, you know, in general. No one asked us this one specifically, like subscribers, but do motility rates actually matter when you're doing IVF? In our case, they didn't, because what they're doing is they take the egg, they choose a sperm, and they put it in. So they're looking for little swimmers that are like swimming straight, they look symmetrical, they just choose one and put it in. It's called ICSI. ICSI is how they pronounce it.
ICSI.
Yeah, and so they didn't really rate motility rate on the California Cryobank, so it didn't matter to us in this case.
But they're good quality because they have to go through all these requirements to give their sperm. So they're good quality, like sperm. They're not just like, you know,
Anybody.
Just anybody can get in there. So number 6, how many children do you want in the future? And with this, it's, you know, can you have more children with this donor? Because sometimes the vials, you know, run out and they're empty and they're limited. So for us, you know, our donor, we only had one. That's it. We actually don't mind having another different donor. We don't care if the siblings are not genetically, you know, all the same. It doesn't matter from one. So we are actually excited to choose a different vial. That's the whole point. I want variety, and I think that's a really awesome thing.
I feel like for the children, it also brings me more into the picture because biologically she will be the egg donor of all of our kids.
Yeah.
And so if they see me as the birth mother, but I don't have any biology connected to them, and then they realize, oh, their brother or sister that they love so much has a different sperm donor, then it also makes it seem like, oh, family is what you make it. It's not necessarily has to be biology.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be genetic. Alright, number 7, does your sperm bank support your lifestyle? This is huge because you want to feel like you belong, you know? You want to feel acceptance. So at OHSU, Oregon Science and Health University, they actually support LGBTQ marriages. They support that whole community. So that's really nice. You know, it's something that you can trust. You feel safe there. They also have high ratings.
They do. They have high SART ratings. So if you want to find out if your clinic is rated high, that they have good success rates for the procedures that they do and the medicine protocols that they do, you look on SART. SART. It's like .com or something. They talk about, their success rates, and they had great ones, so we went with them.
And I'll put the link down below. That way you guys can check that out. It's a really interesting website. And of course, also staff, right? When you are there, do you feel comfortable? Are the people there, your doctors, your nurses, your medical assistants, your secretary, are they supportive?
Yeah, so there's a same-sex marriage, then the anesthesiologist that helped us, the guy that actually runs all the sperm, bank stuff, he has a same-sex marriage with his husband, and there's LGBTQ at the front desk. There's some women that we know that are of LGBTQ. They have the little rainbow on their
that
lapel.
Doctor, the doctor had that.
Yeah.
A few of them.
So it makes us feel comfortable knowing that there are just normal people like us, just supporting us.
Right, number 8. What is the donor's medical history? We actually have a copy of this in the laptop, and it's really awesome. We actually have everything about him, as much as we could at that time. And so, eventually, hopefully, we get to create a little portfolio. That way, when the kids get older, they get to check it out and kind of see, okay, I see where I got that. All right, kind of thing. But nothing too important, right there. But when we looked at his medical history, I didn't see very much.
No, when we looked at his medical history, it shows his siblings, it shows his mom and dad and his grandparents, and it didn't show anything that was like genetic. It showed his grandparents dying of old age, that kind of thing. And that's pretty common for a lot of sperm banks. They don't really allow any genetic abnormalities that much. But it was interesting to see.
Number 9, how many kids can one sperm donor have?
So, one sperm donor is allowed to donate or have 30 different families buy that sperm. From 30 different families, you could have, 2 siblings, or you could have 5 siblings. So they stopped selling his sperm, and they don't allow him to donate anymore. So we know that he has biological children out there.
And the good thing with that is that ours, if it makes it, I just want to pray really quick.
I know, our embryos.
It will be one of the youngest then. All the siblings will be older, if you think of it like that.
So that actually leads us to the next question.
It does?
It does. I'm going to ask you. Okay, so number 10, this is something that someone wrote us. I don't know if it was a male or female, but a subscriber said, are there any living biological siblings of your embryos? And I was like, whoa, that's a weird, shocking question, right?
It is. And there are. It was a Facebook page that actually we found through California Cryobank. And we actually went on that page and we actually put his ID number. And then, oh my gosh,
came up.
There were twin girls. They were very cute.
Very
and then
cute.
there was a boy, and I think there was another girl. But I think he had mostly girls from what we saw. But I think they were very close, I think.
Yeah.
That was really cool to see.
It was cool to see that there are 4 siblings out there. It was cool to see for sure.
That's awesome. 11. How much does the sperm cost? Well, a lot cheaper than an egg.
Yeah, that's
How
true.
much, Jen?
Is $975 for our 1 vial of sperm, and there's usually like 1 million sperm in there, and we only needed as many as we had.
How much
eggs.
was shipping?
Shipping was, I don't remember, $50?
I think so.
It was around $50, yeah.
Last but not least, I really like this question. What traits do you hope Jenna gives to the kids?
That's more like your type of, you need to answer that.
I would love to have green eyes, and I'm sure that's a really high possibility. The thing is that characteristics, they're gonna fade eventually. So I think giving them like morals and having them to learn like actual important things in life, I think that's something that you will give.
Aww.
Because I know I could give that too, but I feel like since, you know, it's harder because it's not more of a bio thing, it's more of a environmental traits that you'll be able to give.
That's so sweet.
So that's awesome, huh? What do you think you'll give?
It says, what about Sarah? What traits do you think? Well, I want our kids to look exactly like her. She doesn't want that so much. She wants our kids to look like me. I want them to have her eye for detail, and I want them to have her compassionate nature. She's always very compassionate, and I want them to learn from her. I would love for our kids to be little miniature Sarahs, so that's why I chose her as a partner. You know, I want them to learn from her.
That's not why you chose me.
It is, because I like you. I think you'd be a great parent. I chose you because I like who you are.
I will be a good parent.
I love you.
I will be very lenient.
Yeah.
I'll be strict and lenient. I think I'll be both because
Yeah.
you have to give balance. But I really think you'll give more, probably environmental. But you know so much, like you'll teach it a lot of things. But I think because we each have our strengths, you know, like I'm good at typing.
Oh, yeah.
On the computer, that's one strength of mine.
She's quick.
That's something that she doesn't really do well, so that's something that I could pass on, you know what I'm saying? And then you have a strength of cooking, or, you know, a strength of
Being level-headed in a tough situation.
yeah, for going into emergency situations and stuff. But you've been a nurse a lot longer too. Hey, I hope you found this video valuable. You know, there's no right way to find, you know, sperm donor. You know, you just gotta follow your gut. You gotta go with what you want because, you know, there's so many choices. There's so many out there that, you know, sometimes you're not gonna get the whole package. You know, there's gonna be some things you'll miss, some things you won't have. And then, you know, of course, get the majority, get the most important stuff, okay? This is why we wanted to do this video. That way you had some insight. Consider subscribing below. Also, make sure to hit the thumbs up. Hey, also don't forget to check out my socials. This way we can stay connected. You know, my DMs are always open. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
You have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're gonna meet, who you're gonna meet, who you're gonna meet.